Namaste, Suprabhatam.
Namaste, good morning. Yeah, we can start.
Okay. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Apadamauli Padiyantam Gurunam Akritim Smaret Tena Vignaha Pranashyanti Siddhyanti Cha Manorathaha Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarottam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi Abahu Purushakaram Shankachakrasidharinam Sahasrashira Samshvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. I think last time we have done Panjamrita Abhisheka. Today it is Malapa Karshana Snanam for that deity. Om Hiranyavarnashu Chaya Pavakaya Sujata Kashyapo Yasvindraha Agnim Yagarbham Dadire Virupastana Apashyagasyona Bhavantu Ya Sagam Raja Varuno Yati Madhye Satyanrate Avapashyanjananam Madhushchutashuchayo ya pavakastana apashyagasyona bhavantu Yasam devi divi krinvanti bhaksham ya antarikshe bahudha bhavanti Ya prithivim payasondanti shukrastan apashyagasyona bhavantu Shivena ma chakshusha pashyata pashivaya tanuvopasprishyata tvacham me sarvagam agnigam rapsushadho huvevo mayi varcho balamojo nidhatsa edadat samprayati raha vanatatahate tasmadanadyo namastata vo nahamani sindhavaha Yas preshita varunena stashi bhagam samavalgata tada apnodindro vo yatis tasmadapo anustana apakkamagasyandamana avivarata vohikam indro vashakti birdevis tasmadvarnama vohitam Eko devo apastishtatsandamana yathavasham Udanishud mahiriti tasmadudakamuchyate Apo bhadra gృతమిదాప ఆసురగ్నిశోమౌ బిభ్రత్యాప ఇత్తాః తీవ్రో రసో మధుప్రచామ రంగమ ఆమా ప్రాణేన సహ వర్చసాగన్ आदित्पश्यमाम्युतवा शृणोम्यामा घोषो गच्छति वाङ्म आसाम् मन्ये भेजानो अमृतस्य तर्हि हिरण्यवर्णा अतृपं यदा वः आपो हिष्टामयो भुवस्तान ऊर्जे धातना महेरणा चक्षसे यो वः शिवतमोरसस्तस्य भाजयते हनः उशतिरीव मातरः तस्मा अरङ्गमामवो यस्य क्षयाय जन्मथा आपो जनयथा च नः दिविश्रयस्वान्तरिक्षे यतः स्वपृथिव्या सम्भव ब्रह्मवर्चसमसि ब्रह्मवर्चसा यत्त्वा आपां गृहान् गृह्णात्येतवत्त्वा राजसूयं यदेते गृहात् सवोऽग्निर्वरुणसवो राजसूयमग्निसवश्चित्यस्ताभ्यामेव सूयतेऽथो उभावेव लोकावभिजयति यश्च राजसूयेने जानस्य यश्चाग्निचित आपो भवन्त्यापो वा अग्ने भर्तव्या यदपो अग्निरतस्ता दुपददाति भ्रातृव्याभिभूत्यै भवत्यात्मना परास्य भातृव्यो भवत्यमृतं वा आपस्तस्मादिद्धरवतां तमभिषिञ्चन्ति नार्तिमार्चति सर्वमायुरेति ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
Thank you, but okay, so today what we will do is, since we'll not be there for next 10 days, or rather till 3rd of October, we'll cover all about Samadhi starting Shloka 35 in the first chapter till 51. We will finish all of them. You can choose whichever method is applicable to you and see whether you get that Nirbija Samadhi experience. That is the idea. And Lata, you wanted that Nirvikalpa, without any imagination. So by 3rd of October, you should be able to achieve it.
Okay.
If you could practice. So the practice is around 18 to 20 hours if you were to do it in whatever you are doing. So the 35th verse is a very simple one. He says that Vishayavati va pravrittir utpanna manasaha sthiti nibandhini. So I take food, I put it in the mouth, and I take good amount of time to chew it. And as I keep on chewing and chewing and chewing and chewing, I start to observe the chewing portion, not the tasting portion, just chewing. If I take sight, eye and the sight, I only take the sight, just the sight. Not getting excited, not getting worked up on that sight, just a sight. Okay, if I take the sound, I just take the sound which is coming. So what he says, Vishayavati, having objects of sense perception. Okay, or pravrittihi, creating a very tangible sense perception. So if I take an example, I go to bath, I'm lost in something. So before I undress my clothes, I need to wash the clothes and slowly remove the cloth where it touches the entire, it will show my entire body. So then I start looking from this portion to the down, as though you are seeing somebody, not yours. So you get that electric shock experience. The moment you disconnect yourself from this body, you get a very high sense perception. So if you put a hot water to the body, it will be, all hairs will start standing up. So you get that meditative experience while taking the body, while taking a bath. Same thing you can do with brushing the teeth. You should look at as though you are brushing something else. So you shouldn't think it is my teeth. So you just keep on reflecting upon that, and suddenly you feel that that sense perception coming. So what he says that using the Vishayavati and Pravrittihi Utpannaha, that is, you produce it, in where Manasaha, of the mind, it gets stilled, because it will be going somewhere. Now it is stilled in that activity. Sthiti Nibandhini. Nibandha is to put it into a proper place. Because moon and the manas is connected, the idea of the mind is to move, and indriyas are supposed to be moving. So the mind moves where the indriyas move. So what you are doing is you are making one of the sense predominant in such a way that you can experience in daily activity. Let's say I go and sit on the toilet seat. Just watch the toilet. Nothing, no disgust feeling, no liking feeling, or whatever that feeling. Just watch it, how it is coming out from your anus. You get a beautiful experience. Like that we need to do it. And then what happens, that becomes your 24 hours practice. So we don't have to close our eyes and sit for long and all that. And let us say something is uh, scratching or feeling of I need to scratch. So I can be in this. So the mind stops. You will only feel rubbing sensation. You don't feel that it is mine, or I don't feel that it is my nose and I am rubbing my nose. It will be just the rubbing sensation. And if I were to do like this, it will be again touching sensation. Nothing to do with my face. It's just a touching sensation. So what he says is that you just do that. Vishayavati va pravrittir utpannaha manasaha sthiti nibandhini. So fix upon the mind on the subtle sense perception only. Don't move anywhere. So if you're like Lata, what you're doing like this. So you just can observe whatever you're doing. If you were to accidentally do like this or scratch your hair or whatever, you just have to do that all the time. And like I'm doing this hand movement, so I just have to watch these hand movements, nothing else. So when I really do that, the mind doesn't move, and at that moment the breath stops. So the whole idea of samadhi is to make the breath stop. And another thing I found out yesterday, so I just want to share that with you. Let me remove this background for some time. Okay, so what I did is that we all have this oximeter. Okay, so then I put it, okay, and I watch. So generally it will be in 70s, let's say. Watching the stomach going up down. Okay, now it is showing 87 as I'm talking. Okay, so now I just watch it. If I watch the stomach, it will stop to dip, and you can bring it to 40. So now it is showing 77. So using stomach, you can do the same thing. So while talking to anyone, watch your stomach, and you can, like you're sitting, you just lower your eyes, and if you speak to that person, he will not know that you are watching your stomach, and you can speak to that person without getting affected. That's another way to stop the mind from getting into impressions. So you can just watch the stomach. So something you need to bring, some gross, that is the stomach watching is a gross impression of the subtle touch. So I can bring in touch, because as the stomach goes up and goes down, there's nothing I need to do about it. It just comes and goes and comes and goes. And then if I keep on watching it, the stomach, that movement slows down and it stops. So the whole objective is to do that. Let's say he says, if that is not possible, Vishoka va Jyotishmatihi. Shoka is sorrow. Vishoka means non-sorrow. So light is non-sorrow. Darkness is sorrow. So what he's asking is, consider when you close your eyes and you have to put your eyes slightly up into the center here and tap 5-6 times like this, and slightly move on the clockwise, and 3 times on the clockwise and another 3 times on the anti-clockwise, and sit, and you get the light, and just be the light. That is Jyotishmati. So like in the Yogoda, he talks about considering light. So they're exactly the same thing what Patanjali is also saying. Or if that is, you want to go even more further, he says that Vitaraga Vishayam Vachittam. Now, what he says, cut the raga in the chitta for the Vishaya. So what I need to do is, I need to put Vilas, the name, and attributes of Vilas, that is the eyes and ears and nose and tongue and the body. It's Vilas eyes, not my eyes. It is Vilas nose, not my nose, like that. The Vishya gets cut. So in the Chitta, it no longer projects anything. So I can use this. So there are three things what we did. One is taking any of the sense perception and doing it. And the second thing is that we looked at this, the third eye, and concentrating on that, and you get the Jyotishmati. And the third one is to cut the raga. Or Swapna Nidra Jnana Lambanam Va. So now you go to deep sleep, where there are no senses. So you bring that here. So if I am seeing three of you, that means it's an illusion, because the same three of you are not there in deep sleep. And there is no Vilas also in deep sleep. Neither the six senses are there in deep sleep. That means this can be brought as a meditation subject right here, right now. So immediately you establish Samadhi. This is the best way to enter into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There is no Vikalpa. All the Vikalpa is in the mind. So when there is no mind, the senses are sleeping. So then there is no need for me to imagine anything or anyone. So now what I can do is, because I have done the previous one was to Vitaragam Vachittam Vishayam Va. That means I have dropped myself of the name and all the identification. Now what I can do is I can bring that into complete awareness, as though I'm in deep sleep. So when I open up the eyes and I watch something, I'm watching nothing. If I'm hearing something, I'm hearing nothing. If I'm tasting, I'm tasting nothing. If I'm thinking, I'm thinking nothing. So I'm not doing anything, basically, as deep sleep. So can I stay in that deep sleep state for a long period of time? As far as possible. Let's say I need to go and meet someone, like in the office. So when I'm meeting what? In an illusory object. It's not a real object. An illusory talk, not the real talk. An illusory sound, but not the real sound. An illusory touch, not the real touch. So if I can practice that, I can get into the Swapna Nidra Jnanalambana. That means in the Nidra, you have deep sleep. In that deep sleep, you don't have impressions. You are bringing out the same thing while with impressions. So now you don't have any impressions. So if I am able to do that, it's like being in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. No sense perceptions. So we started with sense perception. Now we are dropping off the sense perceptions, which really intensifies the practice. So this is one beautiful thing you can do. And if we are able to do that, and if you were to use this guy, it will come to 32.
Yeah, it says here, ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಭಗವಂತನ ಮಹೇಶ್ವರನ ಮನೋಹರವಾದ ಮೂರ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಆರಾಧಿಸದಿದ್ದಾಗ ಪ್ರಸನ್ನವಾದ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಿಂದ ಎಚ್ಚರಗೊಂಡರೆ ಆ ಕನಸಿನಲ್ಲುಂಟಾದ ಅರಿವಿನ ಮೇಲೆ ತನ್ನ ಚಿತ್ತವನ್ನು ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸಿ ಚಿಂತನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಅದು ಸ್ಥಿರವಾದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯುತ್ತದೆ. Generally, people going for bed, they do something, prayers or something. So in this case, you have to keep away your body and mind, right?
Correct. So he says, okay, none of these are valid for me. Then he gives a universal thing. He says, you decide. Yatha abhimatha dhyanat va. If you don't like what I am saying, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, the same thing can be done with walking, right? Anything, any movement. The idea is any movement you watch.
No, it's not any moment you watch. You don't be the moment.
Yeah, correct. That's what I mean. You still and the other things moving.
Yeah, it's just like the spirituality is the next sloka talks about what is spiritual, adhyatma. So the thing is like this: you are sitting in the bank of the river and that you are allowing the river to flow.
Mm.
If you fall in the river, you are flowing along with the river.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So now what I need to do, I need to consider the eye, it will flow. Ear, it will flow. Nose, it will flow. Each one will flow. They're not going to wait for me. But the mind jumps into the river, saying that, oh, I need this sight, I need this sound, I need this taste, I need this touch. And because the mind is jumping into the river, the consciousness also has to jump into the river. So the objective here is to stop the mind from moving into the river of five senses. This is a sixth sense, so it need not have to move. Then the sthiti nibandhini has happened. You're establishing sthiti, state. You're fixing that state and you're not going swept by the senses. So that's the basic practice. So he says, you find your own and do that. Dhyanatva. Then paramanu parama mahat tattvanto sya vashikaraha. Paramanu is the smallest or atom. Parama, greatest. Mahatva, in higher in magnitude. Antaha, extension or ending. Asya, his. Vashikaraha, mastery. So with all of this, you get mastery of understanding the subtlest to the highest. Both. Okay, so this will happen when I bring in the Shushupti state into the waking state. Then I can see the Sukshma in a Anu form. So Anu form is that one day I was telling you that if I observe that person, then I can see the body, like something is falling, like a particles, or my past experience about frame by frame. So everything is moving and it's falling, it's moving, it's falling, it's moving, it's falling. So you can see that you are there, but everything else is falling apart. And it seems like it is connecting, but it is actually disconnecting. And it seems like connecting, but again it disconnects. So you get the mahatva, the essence of the whole thing, the magnitude at which it is. So you can now understand the whole universe in a nutshell, that it integrates to disintegrate. That's all. So as long as the consciousness stays, so long it seems to be integrating, and as soon as the consciousness departs, the disintegration is a normal process. There's nothing like, so the Prakriti will keeps on disintegrating. Purusha is the one which is integrating it. So now I know Purusha and Prakriti. And all this while I was attached to the Prakriti, now I am not attached to anything because I am Purusha. There is no need for me to get entangled with Prakriti. So this is the best state I can be. And if there is any excitement or udvega, I can use this guy. And if it goes to 100 or 80 or 90 or whatever, from 40, it means that the mind has moved. Mind doesn't move, the breath comes down. Mind moves, the breath goes up. Simple. Okay. And the objective is to stop the breath and stop the heart. Ultimately, heart has to be stopped. Stopped in the sense that it has to go to 32 and it feeble once in a while it just does, and again It just slows down like this. Just a moment. In that, everything you can see, because without slowing the heart, you can't see what is there. Whatever is there in that Narayana Sukta cannot be seen. So now you can see, because it is, you are now seeing the true nature, the light. You're exactly seeing that. So it is good that way. So 32 and below can make me even more, make it below, then it gets into samadhi. So there is no action. So if the person is as good as dead, but warmth will be there, everything would be there, but there is no activity, and the body is not decaying. So it would be very nice. So to get into that state, it should reach 16 or even more, less than that. Then perfect samadhi sthiti. You can stay as long as you want, few days, months, years, as much as possible. So much you have attained. So yesterday, while day before yesterday, I think so. Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday. One guy from London had called. So he and I were to meditate. So then he was saying that I'm trying, but it's not working. So then I told him that, why don't you watch your stomach? So then I brought in this guy and I showed him that from 60s it came down to 50s and came down to 40s. While I'm still talking to him, I said, just watching this, you can do it. So then Aryu, I think Lata, you've seen that he has sent his sons. So yesterday,
Oh, I was wondering what is that.
so now what is he doing is that he is making use of this. So if he feels something is coming, he'll put that and it comes to 90 or 85 or something like that. So then he watches it, it goes down. So I told him, don't make it as an attachment or a dependency, because then every few moments you would like to have it. So I told him that you first meditate for few hours, then you put your finger into it and it will come down. It would have gone down. Try to maintain that sthiti. Don't do anything more. Just maintain that sthiti. So there won't be any excitement. It will be as fine, always in meditation, because you know that it is going to go up. The moment the voice goes up or something goes up, that immediately goes up. So you can keep on checking till it becomes a habit to maintain that 50s and 40s. So the heart is at 40s, it's a most relaxation. So the heart will also be very good. No heart attacks, no nothing will happen. It will be too good. And if you can stop the heart by bringing it to 16 and 15 and like that, it's even more better, because anyway the breath will stop at 32, then there's no breath, so it keeps on dipping away, so it stops. So once it stops, Patanjali says what happens in the next shloka. Kshina vrittehe abhijatasya manehe grahana maner grahithir grana graheshu tad anjanat samapattihi. Kshina, weakened. Vritti, the movement, modification. Abhijatasya, of natural, pure, flawless, iva, like as if. Mane is a crystal. Grahitar, the knower. Grahana is that you're holding that knowledge. Graheshu, in knowledge. Tad stadat anjanata samapattihi. Just as the naturally pure crystal takes the shape and color of object placed near it, now the yogi will get into the same with that light shining on it. So now what happens here is that at that stage of below 32 as a heartbeat, only the light will be shining on the mind, nothing else. So a complete calmness is attained. So the whole body becomes shining and there is no movement at all. Tatastat tadanjanata samapattihi. So this is 41. Then we go to 42. And here, if that, like in the case of Ranjini, she has a drama, that really helps because it starts to increase and it stops the heart. Tatra shabdhartha jnana vikalpaihi sankirna savitarka. Now you come to savitarka samadhi. That is, we had 4 things: savitarka, savichara, ananda, asmita, samprajna. So now you come into savitarka. With all of this, you are in savitarka. That sound. So if I have taken Om to do that, now I get the decipher. I start hearing to that Om. Now I have understood A, U, Ma and silence, all the 4. Okay, this is what would happen at Savitarka. So now I am in that Samprajnata Samadhi. And with that what happens is Smriti Parishuddhau Swarupa Shunyevartha Matra Nirbhasa Nirvitarka. So at the same time, Shunyata is experienced completely. Voidness or nothingness. All the 5 senses, you will see it without any substance. And with that you have attained Nirvitarka Samadhi. For that the Smriti has to be free from any kind of impressions. So my name itself is an impression that goes away, wife and husband and all that worldly things are gone. And in that own nature, Shunya is experience. Nirbhasa, Nirvitarka. So there is nothing like that. Only that Nirvitarka is experienced. Etaya iva savichara nirvichara cha sukshma vishaya vyakhyata. In the same way, the savichara and nirvichara, that is reflective and non-reflective samadhi, you get into the subtlest of the object experience. Then you get into sukshma vishayatvam cha alinga paryavasanam. Sukshma is subtle, Vishaya is the object, Vishayatvam, you getting into that objectivity-ness. Alinga, without mark. Linga is with mark, with some symbol. So there is nothing as symbolization. Parya Vasanam. It ends. So all the tanmatras, the chitta and the ahankara, or what is called as prakriti, ends with that. So no more prakriti. It's only Purusha. Tad ta eva sabija samadhi. Now this is the sabija samadhi, where the bija is there, but the prakriti is not there. So there is nothing to manifest. Here the problem is that it can still come back to samsara. So now you have to go further 3 more steps. Nirvichara vaisharade adhyatma prasadaha. Now you need to get into adhyatma. That is, once you are out of sabija samadhi. So in the purity of nirvichara samadhi, the supreme self shines. So when I say I am in adhyatma, spiritual, it means I am seeing only the light. Otherwise, it is not spiritual. Ratambhara tatra prajna. After attaining this pure and non-reflective samadhi, the yogi gets the complete knowledge. What is Ritambara? So he explains in 49th verse, Shruta Anumana Prajnabhyam Anya Vishaya Vishesha Arthatavat. This special truth, what he has found, is totally different from the knowledge gained by hearing or by studying scriptures or by anybody's inference. All the 3 are removed. So all the scriptural study no longer is of any help to him. All the hearing he had done is also not required, and the inference is also not required. He is now in perfect sthiti. He's experienced it. All this while, the scriptures were only pointing it. They were not really telling him anything. All the mantras and all the Upanishad and all the things were just telling the thing. It was not able to tell him where exactly it is, because nothing can be put in language. It has a limitation. So whatever we are studying as scriptures, they have a limitation. They cannot give you that experience. Now this person has experienced the truth. Then 2 more steps happens for that yogi. Tajjaha samskaronya samskara pratibandhini. Tad, that. Ja is to be born, which is produced. Samskaraha, these subliminal impressions or the impressions what have been created. Anya, other. Pratibandhini. Pratibandhi is to wipe out. Meaning all the impressions which was stored from karma to samskara is dropped. So that removes the association with vasana. Now he is a vasana-less person. Meaning to say the vasana exists, but it doesn't have any movement, so it basically doesn't do anything. Those vasana does not in any way harm that person, because there are no samskaras and there are no karmas. With that, tasyapi nirodhe sarva nirodha nirbija samadhi. With that, he is in nirbija samadhi. So we entered sabija samadhi, and with that knowledge, ritambhara prajna, we have come into nirbija samadhi, and that ends the first chapter. So the practice here is from 31 to 51, 20 shlokas. If we take either one of them in from the 31, I'll tell you which shloka exactly we have to practice. Dukkha daurmanasya angam yajayatva swasa prashwasa vikshepa saha bhuvaha. From then we have to practice. The disturbance in the breath shows that mind exists. No disturbance in the breath shows that mind doesn't exist. So the objective here is to stop the mind. To stop the mind, you require the breath. So stop the breath, mind also stops. Okay, so that's all. Finished. Now you have choice for the next 10 days, what, or 12 days. I have a choice, you have a choice. You choose what you want, I'll choose what I want. And we will measure the success through this. Whenever you can ask somebody to take a photograph when it touches 32, so that at least you know that you had achieved it. I'm carrying this to Ladakh so that anyway nobody will be disturbing me. So it'll be nice. And tomorrow in the flight I can do that. So it is fun.
Yeah, in the morning when I checked this thing, it was 114.
Wow.
Okay, after taking bath, I was running around and then coming and sitting for meditation. So before meditation, I checked.
No, in that case, you should not do like that. What you need to do is you have to first bring it to 80s. So for bringing it to 80s, do this. You take a deep breath. You remember in that Yogoda he has given that.
That I do.
That you have to do it. Immediately brings it down. If it is in hundreds, it immediately brings it down.
Yeah, so after the meditation, it was 78 or something.
Good. But
I couldn't stay for more. I could have 70.
It's around that.
Yeah. For me, every time it is above 100.
Yeah. So you need to bring down the heartbeat.
Yeah, I started speaking 84.
87. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, it should come down. Even with
Now,
talking.
if you speak, if you spend your this energy, then it goes up.
Yeah. Even with that, it should be less. Let's see what it will show for me. It is at 79, 78, 77, 76. Let's see what happens. So I keep on talking. Let's see what it would do. 74, 73.
72, 71.
Yeah, it should keep on dipping.
It has come to it works.
It's increased now. 73.
So it has to drop down. So for dropping it down, 15 minutes you should be not talking and just watching the stomach. It comes to 50s. Then 50s to 40s will take 45 minutes to 1 hour. And then 40s to 30s will take another 2-3 hours.
Yeah, it will take a long time. That's what I found.
Yeah. You have to
20 counts for me, 100 to 80 and 75, it comes pretty fast. But then you have to sit for some more time to make it come down.
Yes, exactly.
Because otherwise I'll again get up, I have 100 things to do. So I'll go run around and then it's all gone.
While walking, I am getting up to 110 maximum.
Yeah, 110 is good while walking. It should not cross 140 if you are walking or jogging. Then it creates that fibrillation of heart.
So this practice, so seeing only the sight, right? Or hearing only the sound, or only chewing. So that's the only thing which has to be done.
Yes. So you have to take one of the senses and just experience that. Like best is taste. So just the chewing, not the taste, just the chewing. Just the chewing. You're just chewing, nothing else you're doing. And then the taste which comes will be totally different than the taste what you will call as a taste. So let's say I'm eating, today my wife had made rajma and chapati. So when I chew like this, I need to be observing the chewing, meditating on the chewing. Then the rajma and chapati goes away. Instead, the flavor, the taste which comes into totally different. It's not a rajma taste. Okay, it's not chapati taste. It's something else. Another easy bathing or
Otherwise, I think you start with the gross object, then
yes,
it has to go to the subtle.
subtle.
So this is chewing is, for example, gross. Then how does it go to subtle?
Now that is what he is explained that, right? So it'll automatically start to go into subtle. You feel that these goosebumps will start.
Ah.
I told you, that your hairs will start to, with
Or
that,
your heart will start expanding.
yeah, heart will start expanding. You feel very cool region in your heart, or you feel you never had that kind of an experience. Okay, all of those are the indications.
Mm.
So we can choose whatever exercise we would like to do and be with that. So when you take chewing, do that all the time. Meaning, now you had your breakfast and you're going to have lunch. Remember that you need to watch the chewing. Okay, and then in the evening when you eat dinner or having coffee or whatever, tea, coffee or whatever you want to have, just watch that. And you're sipping water, try to just don't gulp water. You just should be chewing that water also. You'll have a different effect. And accordingly, touching, if you're touching your hands doing like this, observe what is happening. So you will feel warm and it goes away, and then you do like this. So you have to basically, you're making everything slow, as slow as it can. And changing dress, do that, and putting a new dress or whatever it is. So be with that. With all movements, then you start with all movements and all that. So you're basically mastering that you are aware of everything. There's not even one part where you're not aware. And most of the time we are unaware.
Yeah, both of them we are working. No, you don't even aware of your body, you are not aware of your mind, nothing. It all goes wherever it wants.
Yeah, it runs.
It keeps on running. Yes.
Yeah, so we are stopping that running. The temple run is stopped.
Keep on running with the mind. Please stay.
Yeah, stays. So for that we can use any method. So the easiest method what Bhagavad Gita talks about is you drop your name. That is dhyayate vishayan pumsaha, you drop. Because if you dhyana on yourself, kama, krodha, lobha, all that will come. So you drop it, you're done.
Yeah, correct. You observe, for example, Lata. Then you will find that Lata is running around, but you are staying.
Yes, you are staying. There is you don't have anything to do with Lata.
Correct. So that is another way of doing it.
No, that is the right way of doing. So you don't bring Vishaya. So he says in that shloka, he says that Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha prasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So basically what you're doing is you're not associating yourself with anything as you. There's no Vishaya now. Only when you are there, there's Vishaya. So the name is the Vishaya. You drop the name, there is no Vishaya at all. Because every Vishaya is in relation to that person. So if I don't exist, then there is no Vishaya at all. Yeah. So there is one ID what you are having, and who knows who it is. So it matches the face actually. So when they allow us inside in the office, what are they doing? They're just taking that photograph, thinking that it is you. They're allowing you, right? And when we go and stand near that attendance thing, again the same thing. And even if you were to take a fingerprint, it is the finger's print, not my print. It is finger's print. So there's no me in that fingerprint, right? Now, if like, when I was putting it on my mobile to have this print, it was saying that no, you put left, right, and then it is not able to read. It says it cannot read because the rings here are not that visible. Or in that BTP office, I always used to have that problem with that finger thing.
I always have problem with fingerprints.
Yeah, because
it never comes.
Even I have that problem. I don't have it at all. So that security fellow was saying that why don't you use another finger? So
all fingers are like that.
My problem is the same. All fingers are like that. And in that US consulate, I had a real big problem of having all the fingers, and it is not.
Then they somebody pressed my hand to get it come.
Yeah, almost the same problem I too have. So it's the finger's print. It's not my print. I don't have any print. It is the fingerprint. So if I can see like that, I have no issues. Somebody is called Vilas and he is going here and there and doing a lot of things. It's fine. What is my problem with that? I shouldn't be bothered, right?
Yeah. So get to that state is the
yeah, that is the state we have to get into, because you can really watch. When I come to the office.
So is it better to watch like that? Like watching Lata going around?
That's the
or
best.
Watching a particular
no. That if you are able to do is the best.
Okay. The Lata.
You're disconnecting. You're disconnecting yourself from Lata. You don't have anything to do with Lata.
Yeah, okay.
See, who sleeps? Lata sleeps. Who wakes up? Lata wakes up. Who goes to the toilet? Lata goes to the toilet. Who goes to urination? Lata goes. Lata's body require bath. You don't require any bath. Lata's bodies require food. You don't require food. Like that, if you were to practice, you'll get the same nirvikalpa samadhi. The vikalpa is that I am so and so. So then you get into that state. ಹೌದು, ಅದು ರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. Okay, 9:26. Any last questions before we close for this month?
This month, yeah. So now after that is after 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I will message day after tomorrow. Since now we have a 300 Mbps fiber optic in Ladakh and in our office there, so I should be able to have a disc. And we are not going on 22nd, we are going on 23rd to the remotest part of that whatever my partner has chosen. So to be a good experience anyway. But 22nd I am there in Leh. So 21st and 22nd in Leh. 21st we can meet, because tomorrow is 20th. I am in office, but by afternoon only I am reaching. But day after tomorrow I'll message you, and if it's possible we'll meet 21st.
Okay, so when are you going? 23rd, right? But
22nd evening.
Then we can meet. All can meet.
Okay, one more day we can meet, 21st.
One more day we can meet and see which one we want to again.
Yeah, I want to try this Lata, so then in one shot everything is gone.
No, that is the best. Then this taste and all this is not required, because that is required for those who cannot get rid of their name. But if you are able to do that in every action, there is no Lata or there is no Vilas or there is no Bhatt or there is no Ranjini, like that, if you are able to practice. Because all relationship is to that person. No, what is my problem?
Yeah, correct. That's true.
So Lata is going to go to the meeting room. You are not going. Lata is going, and you are just a party to it. You're just an observer. Okay, what Lata does, let us see.
Yeah.
And it'll be real fun. It'll be real fun. We can do that.
Okay, good.
Okay, good day to all of you then.
And very happy and safe journey.
Thank you. And same to you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Namaste, Ram Ram.
Ram. Expected. That's expected.